Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Joes of all ages, welcome to the main event of the evening.
It's Talking Joe with Chief and Steve.
Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe! Yo, Joe!
Hey, the tank, the chieftain tank is here. It's live. It's Talking Joe, episode 84, joined by you.
Community Focus S-Job 7. Hello, Chief.
Explain.
And a happy Cobra Convergence to all.
Oh, yes, happy Cobra Convergence. We're deep into Cobra Convergence first week. Make sure you check out all the other contributors to this. Joe Berg, you kicked us off with day one.
Ah, yes. Kind of got a bit of a pass on that one. I mean, we just called for community contributions. Everyone shot 2-minute videos and we stitched them together with some overarching continuity. Easy.
Yes.
But I suppose it is in the spirit of Cobra Convergence and community members coming together and all collaborating on basically putting G.I. Joe on the map. But I suppose putting Cobra on the map, hey, why not?
Yeah. Check out today's Cobra Convergence contributor, that is Comic Tropes, and tomorrow's Toy Polloi. So, all good stuff. Yeah, very good. What have we been up to this? Actually, scratch all that. I'm not going catch up. I'm going straight to the snack police. Potato chips, crisps, biscuits and candy, washing them down with a whiskey or a brandy, chewy sweets, cookies, built around jerky, snacks running fair because we got them at our mercy. We're snackers, attackers, bad mother truckers, and we're eating all the crackers, munches, crunchers, knockout snacks like we're heavyweight punchers. The snack police are in his house.
What? He's hungry? Damn.
Yeah, I'm in the loft. I am hungry. I did not have breakfast, and I've got myself a Twix salted caramel extra.
Breakfast of champions right there.
Let's crack this open. This is not vegan, but, you know. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. We're going inside Chief's mind. This is all covered in sticky liquid, and I'll tell you the reason for that is I knocked over a cup of coffee just before recording, and it went all over this, it went all over the floor, it went over my, like, what's the thing where you put all your plugs in?
The
like
strip
the extender,
plug.
the
Yeah,
strip
this is
plug
classic
thing.
Talking Joe on so many levels, because didn't Ben predict a major electrical meltdown happening in your loft?
Yeah.
Fortunately, that strip plug doesn't look overloaded in the picture that you sent me, but...
No, there's about 3 things in there, but it
also
went over...
Nice.
It also went over a copy of Gotham Central comic, unbagged.
It wasn't boarded and bagged. Oh dear.
It was, but I was about to read it. So that is now Kaputsville, and I was about to put that lot on eBay as well, the full set. So I now need to source another one of those issues. Not ideal.
Not Chief. Okay, you can't sell it, but surely it's not worth going straight into the bin. I mean,
no,
you can still read it, surely.
I mean, I might have exaggerated it. It's it might be okay, and I mopped it up fairly quickly, but anyway, back to this Twix.
How is salted caramel on a Twix? Oh man,
salted caramel has become very much on vogue as a trendy thing, hasn't it? I don't know what is that supposed to taste like though. Is salted caramel literally just salt and caramel mixed together?
But yeah, absolutely. The sweet spot between savory and sticky sweet. That's that beautiful middle ground. I don't know. Does it do anything for you, Chief?
I am a salted caramel fan, but more in something like an ice cream.
Yeah, something about the coldness of the ice cream like really adds the third dimension, which is important. I don't know if a chocolate will be as successful at room temperature.
No, it tastes like a regular Twix, which is a good bar, but it's almost like they've added an extra element that didn't need to be added.
Right.
It's almost like, because they've added the salt, they've added... I'm actually getting grains, big chunks of sea salt in this, like crunchy sea salt. It's almost like because they've added the salt, they've added extra sweetener into the caramel, which is making it too sweet.
And actual grains of salt. I mean, that...
Yeah.
I just think of your heart, man. Damn.
Yeah. Right, that's done. I finished it. What have you got?
Well, also another sweet and savory kind of snack. This is a Chinese rice cake. The brand is called Want Want.
Yes,
God bless Chinglish. Yeah, exactly. Shelly Senbei rice crackers. Look, you always catch me. These podcast sessions are always directly after dinner time, and tonight we had another bit of Chinese cuisine. We had a hot pot, and that is a lot of vegetable meat, and there's a root that we put in it, lotus root. Yes.
All right.
So it's very filling, and because a hot pot is essentially like a fondue.
Stew.
Yeah, you never
right,
can
okay.
keep track of how much you've ate.
Okay.
You're
bad
just
times.
plunging stuff into the boiling broth.
Yes,
And then
yes.
plucking it out with your chopsticks and chomping it, and you always end up gorging yourself. So I'm going to go with a rice cracker. There are 2 in each individually wrapped bags. They're disc-shaped, and they've got like a sweet, sugary glaze on the top. But they are actually savory underneath. Give it a good old snap for y'alls.
Want one, maybe.
Once again, too sweet. So just like the Chief,
Yeah.
I think this is a one thumb up kind of snack.
Yeah, I'm going similar. Right, I'm fully fueled up now, so I will give everyone a quick roundup of what the Chief's been up to. So, first order of business, I completed The Last of Us 2 on the PlayStation 4, 27 hours, 21 minutes, and that is a lot of game. Now, I've got a lot to say here. I'm going to keep it brief. It was fairly evident to me halfway through the game that I preferred the first one. The first one, I think I clocked in at somewhere between 16 to 18 hours, maybe, something like that. Maybe it was about 18, I think. And that was pitched at just the right length of game. This, at one point, got very grindy, got very monotonous, and it was just, I was only playing it purely to get to the end to say I finished it. Now, this got a lot of, it's obviously been highly rated, but it has got a lot of flack for its violence and the level of violence that you have to inflict on other people in order to progress. And it's supposed to be a commentary of modern society, not that we all go around stabbing each other in the necks and things on a day-to-day basis, but what you've got to do in order to survive in what is kind of a post-apocalyptic kind of world-ish. Now, spoilers, people who haven't played this or the first one, spoilers for the first game as well. So skip ahead, 5 minutes. So the first game is
Insert time code here.
Yes.
Skip to the following time code.
17 minutes and 30 seconds.
Ding! Please continue, Chief.
Perfect. So this is set. The first game is set in modern day, and there's been some kind of outbreak. It's an infection. It's kind of zombie-ish in that regard. No one knows what's happening. The lead character, Joel, this game starts off with a big 10-minute video sequence almost. Well, you're part playing but part video, and you kind of try and escape. You're harassed in the streets, and then you escape with his brother Tommy and his little girl. And it gets to a bit at the end of that scene where his girl actually gets shot and killed. And so straight off the bat, it's like, whoa, you are not expecting that. And then fast forward X amount of years, it's an indeterminate amount of time, and there's like almost pockets of resistance around the world, and there's these infected, the zombie things are roaming around the countryside, and it turns out that there's this girl Ellie, who has been bitten but not infected, and she is immune, and she's the first case of immunity ever. And there's, across the country in California, there's this group of scientists who believe they can reproduce a cure from her blood. So Joel then takes on stewardship of Ellie to take her, it's a road movie, to take her, road game, to take her cross country to this lab. And the first game follows that narrative. And I don't know if have you played the first one or not?
That's a negative, Chief. I've regressed in my gaming, in fact.
Yeah, you're back to retro, aren't you?
Big time!
Anyway, the crux of this second game is the fact that Joel did not let those scientists go through with the operation on Ellie because it would have killed her. So it's that old conundrum, do you go back and kill Hitler or whatever? It's in a similar vein. Is Ellie's death worth it if it saves the population of the world. However,
Reminds me of ethics class back in varsity.
there is no guarantee that the cure will work. So to adding more conundrum in. So what the game does very cleverly is that storytelling is key here, and it does feel like you're just grinding through play sections to progress to the next cutscene. However, that's not to say that the playing of the game isn't fun, because for the majority of the time it is. And maybe fun's the wrong word, because when you're inflicting all this violence, but the mechanics are tight, and the game looks gorgeous. So the crux, a game's never done this to me before. So there's a scene, and again, this is heavy spoiler, so hopefully you skipped forward to the time code that Steve has put in. But there's a scene where Joel has been captured by another group of survivors. Ellie's gone to find him. She's been kind of tied down. She's burst into a room where they've got Joel. She's been pinned down, and there's a girl there called Abby who, you look at Joel and he has been literally tortured almost to death, and she gets, I think it's a golf club, and then you see her just cave his face in with a golf club and murder him. And this is the moment where I've never wanted anything more in a video game ever than what I wanted to do for the rest of the game was finally take control of Ellie, or take re-control of Ellie when they knock her out and leave her, and then when she wakes up and you take back playing of her, there's only one thing that was satisfying, and that was finding Abby and killing her for murdering who was Joel, who became this surrogate father figure for Ellie, and he was so well acted and played out through both games. I was like, this guy's an absolute legend, and I've just seen what I feel is almost like a close friend or my lead character's father get brutally murdered. It becomes a revenge flick, and it reminded me of Kill Bill actually. In that, the bride is then seeking revenge on everyone involved, and Ellie goes after Abby, but along the way ends up killing all of her close friends along the way to get to Abby. And what the game does is, halfway through the game, I didn't know this happened, you stop playing as Ellie and you start playing as Abby.
No.
And I resented that at the time, because I'm like, I don't want to play as this villain. I don't want to have to do that. But it goes back in time, so you play the time period that you played as Ellie, you play that then as Abby. And what the game did was, it actually made me do a 180. And
sympathy for the devil, huh?
I was then on Abby's side, because it turns out that when Joel rescued Ellie from the end of number 1 to get her away from the lab, he ended up killing the scientists and the doctors, and one of the doctors that he shot in the head was Abby's dad. So it's almost like Batman and Joker. You made me, I made you. I fell in the acid, you made me, and or whatever, that kind of thing. You shot my parents, you made me. This is Ellie seeking revenge, but by Joel killing Abby's dad, he instigated this cycle of revenge in the first place. And
that's what an eye for an eye will get you. But Chief, did you get to have any satisfaction by the end of it? I mean, if you're basically drumming up sympathy for both of these characters,
I'd kind of in a way turned against Ellie, because there's a scene where she's in a relationship with another woman who, as it turns out, is pregnant, and they're in love with each other, Ellie and Dina, and Dina's about to have a kid, but Dina has tagged along on Ellie's revenge trip. And you keep thinking, Ellie, you should be taking your lover and unborn child home to the camp, and if you want to continue this pursuit, do it alone. Don't drag her in and make her involved in it.
It's not going to end well to have a pregnant woman in tow.
And there's a bit, on about 25 hours, it ends where they've had the confrontation. Abby and Ellie have had the confrontation, and Abby kind of has got a gun on her and basically says, if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. Off you go, and they part ways. Ellie goes back to the ranch, to the farm, and you get this 20-minute long cutscene. You're still playing, you're walking around the farmyard area, but Dina and Ellie have kind of at peace, and everything's behind them now. The kid's been born, so it's obviously fast forwarded, and they're on this peaceful scene, and that was a really good ending to the game, But the game doesn't end there. You then get what I thought was, I was putting the pad down.
Neither does the review.
You get.
I need to remind you of your own words here, Chief. I'll keep it brief. Yeah, I've got a lot to say, but I'll keep it brief.
It's Chief Soapbox. We've given them a timestamp. They can avoid all this stuff.
Indeed.
But then,
just like Game of Thrones.
Joel's brother has come back on the scene, Tommy, who he set out to get revenge in the first place on Abby, and Ellie followed him. But he's come back, he's got a busted up leg and a face because he got embroiled in this scrap with Abby and Ellie where we thought it was ending. And he now says, she's been spotted on the west coast. I can't go because of my smashed up leg. You need to finish off this vengeance. And Dina's like, what are you talking about? You know, we got a family. We're both mothers. What are you talking about? And then in the middle of the night, Ellie sneaks off to go after Abby again, even though it had been resolved that she was happy with her situation. Dina catches her about to sneak off and says, look, what you're doing, but she doesn't, and I wanted her to say, look, it's me or her. If you leave, don't ever come back because you're abandoning me and your child. That never happens. She just says, you know, fine, if you were going to go. And then you have to then play another 2.5 hours of game with Ellie trying to find Abby. And then you finally find her. She's been captured by another rogue group that's just been put into the mix. And you then, I put the pad down and I almost refused to play because you then have to have a fight scene between the two of them. And you have to play as Ellie now, and you're trying to kill Abby. And I was like, I don't want the game to force me to play as Ellie trying to kill Abby. I don't want that. So I just put the pad down and said I'm not going to play, and let this scene work out itself with the computer AI. And Abby ends up killing Ellie, and then the game just says game over. You know, it just resets you back to the beginning of that scene again. So it forces you to play that scene out. And actually, how the scene plays out is Ellie has flashbacks of Joel, drops to her knees, and then they actually end up going their separate ways. However, when she does go home to the ranch, Dina and the kid have left. So it was she made a choice for revenge, which she ultimately didn't take, and then she lost her current life as a result of it. There you go.
Probably nothing new to current modern gamers, but it seems like contemporary games are really doing their utmost to mess with your mind.
Yes.
Because you can jump into the body and life and history of multiple characters and build them all up as protagonists in your mind and then be forced to choose between them. That's hardcore, man. Damn.
Yeah. So
I can see your pain, Chief.
Whilst I was playing it, I definitely did feel I just want to get to the end now. The game is too long. That is definitely a fault of the game. It is too long. However, now having a week to have mulled over, I think I will play it again, but I'll probably leave it at least a year. So,
right.
There you go. That's my catch up. What have you been up to?
Reading some comics, Chief.
Good man. Someone needs to.
Yeah, buddy. Let's do some comic talk.
Right, here we go. So,
I mean, I was gonna do. I'm retro gaming. That's what I'm playing. So
yeah, well, I was on my soapbox. Do yours, yeah.
Or you'll be failing. Nintendo Power, not in the shower.
Sega for the ages. Ghouls and Ghost Rages.
And now, what? No,
Sony PlayStation gave me sensations.
Atari Jaguar.
How did it get this far? And now I
Bring
have
it
to
back,
go.
man. Live. Oh, jeez.
Love it. I love your dedication.
But right now,
we're going to talk some Real American Hero. It's Comic Talk, baby. Chief and Steve discussing like crazy. Larry Hama riding these bad boys, making sense of the wackiest toys. Listen as we talk about story arcs, making noise louder than Junkyard Box, talking about character motivations and all the various G.I. Joe fun locations. This is 207 and 208. Let's look at the cover. I have the Scarlet Roadblock Snake Eyes cover.
yes, as do I. The sketch doesn't look like it. I can't even make it out. Sorry.
No, I can't. I can't either. Yeah, do you like this one?
I have a question for you, Chief. Golden was here?
Yeah, I'm trying to recall a Michael Golden cover that was similar to this that Gallant is riffing on. But I didn't do any research or look back, but off the top of my head, I can't think of what it would be.
Right.
I'm assuming it refers to a Michael Golden cover from the Marvel run. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. Is it the yearbook? The Snake Eyes pose reminds me maybe of the yearbook. Have a look at the yearbook cover. But there's more Joes in that one, I think.
Yeah, it would have Torpedo with the pig and ripcords in there.
I think the Snake Eyes pose, he's down on one knee, isn't he? Firing an Uzi.
Yeah.
Maybe not two hands out in the golden one, but...
golden
Yes.
spear, sure.
Scarlett's got a cobra satchel on her.
Top secret.
Yes, top
Glad
secret.
they do the embroidering on the bag, just to make sure you know. I like the
Yeah.
fact that Snake Eyes is in his commando duds. Always enjoy
Yes,
that.
we've not seen these. When was the last time we saw these?
Well, look,
think.
he did wear them in the Siege of the Pit.
Right,
I don't
yeah,
think we
yeah.
commented on it, but it's nice to see a return to the goggles. I think
Yes.
all too often artists just default to the visor, but here we have Gallant like making a concerted effort to have Snake Eyes in his commando duds, in
very
a
cool.
number of consecutive issues.
Yep. Then we go to 208, which is our old friend 921 is back, or Silver Samurai, should I say, and it looks like she is about to give Snake Eyes a bit of a headache, or a headless headache.
Let's give those motherfuckers a haircut. Yeah, man. Once again, the best thing going for it is Snake Eyes and his commando duds. Not mad about the Silver Samurai.
No, it's the cover's okay. It looks a little bit rushed, maybe.
Oh, really?
It's okay. I kind of like the perspective. It shows you how strong 921 is, lifting up Snake Eyes Vader style with one hand. But, yeah. It's
Yeah, look,
okay.
I mean, no backgrounds really on either of these covers.
No.
So saving time on those kind of chores.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's not bad.
Let's get to the interiors. Oh, I remember now, actually, why S-Jobs was giving me the hurry up on the Last of Us chat is because he's actually got a prior engagement coming up, paid work. So, yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, S-Jobs. We'll still get there in time.
No, Chief, you're not using me as your excuse. We're a G.I. Joe podcast, brother.
Yes,
Let's get to the G.I. Joe.
That's it, you got it. Last time on A Real American Hero, Jinx and Pale Peony lead an operation to investigate Revanche Robotics in Dublin in pursuit of a new computer chip they're developing for Cobra, but they run afoul of Android 921, a hulking woman in samurai armour. Defeated in battle, they are dragged away to parts unknown. Meanwhile, an unexpected meeting with Sean Collins, Wade Collins' son, leads Scarlet and Snake Eyes to discover a new Crimson Guardsman embedded close by to G.I. Joe's Fort Wadsworth base.
Which is very much on the back burner of anyone's
Yes.
priorities in these
Yes,
issues.
correct.
Right. I suppose someone else on the Joe team is keeping tabs.
In that recap, I like the bit where they said they are dragged to parts unknown, and that, I don't think that's a reference to it, but whenever I was watching WWF wrestling in the 80s, and they would have someone like the Ultimate Warrior or the Undertaker, and they'd read out their weight, and they'd say, the Undertaker weighing in at 310 pounds, hailing from parts unknown. So
Nice.
yeah, this is where my memory of these issues starts to be a bit fuzzy. I kind of remember the IDW stuff up to
As
now.
opposed to what, Chief?
Oh, yes. No, remembering things in a very broad sense that happened, plot points, so to speak. But here, I'm struggling to remember any of this from the first read I did at the time. And just to say, this is from October 2014, this issue. But these issues are starting to get a little bit out of my comfort zone, so to speak. I think I think you put up with the Blue Ninjas. I was actually quite enjoyable, but here the level of advancement and the superheroish nature of these new Revanche androids is just pushing it a little bit too far for me.
It seems to be kind of elastic. There are times when Jinx can take out a whole army of Blue Ninjas single-handedly, and there are times when one seems to, absolutely put her in her place, along
Yes.
with Pale Peony. But aside from that, I don't know, Chief, I'm always going to be give us named Cobra baddies and Destro organization baddies to take down.
Yeah.
Those guys are still at large. These side quests kind of push G.I. Joe away from what I enjoy seeing. Who are these characters? I give rocks about the Silver Samurai 921. She's just another pop-up target.
We do get 3 named Cobra villains at the end of the next issue, at the end of 208, which is nice. Yep.
Yeah, but I do think that's bordering on fan service.
Right.
I know I'm being a hypocrite right now, but I think throwing those 3 together with their kind of differing but intersecting specialties, I don't know if they're the best fits, and I think that's really just like to pander to the fans of Copperhead, Scrap Iron, and Firefly in one fell swoop.
Yes.
It's not necessarily letting those characters shine. And you'll see in later issues, they don't get to shine in their individual, like what they add to the Cobra tapestry. But anyways, getting back to this issue, it seems the art chores once again favor a sequence from Kill Bill. It's come up already in this chat. You might have missed it in the spoiler edition of Last of Us 2. But we have Pale Peony and Jinx both in boxes, and the art reflects that. They're kind of boxed in. Each panel is box-shaped and very confined. They're wriggling. They're trying to escape this very dark situation. And Jinx pulls out of her hair a hair clip, almost a kind of the same framing and the same pose as Scarlet in issue 21.
Yeah, good catch. And it's a tricked out hairpin, though, of course.
Yes, machine tooled by Long Range in his gun shop to have a serrated, toothed edge.
Yeah.
Long Range, the artillery man. Okay, right.
The artillery sniper man,
The everything
very cool.
man.
Very cool.
Small arms armorer.
Yes. And then they kind of, well, they don't bust out Bride style, do they? Because they actually they're on a flatbed truck and they get dunked in the river and ends up. Actually, she is doing some sort of fist womp, Jinx.
Yeah, she can't manage to get enough of a hole because, of course, these boxes are tumbling into the Liffey.
Yeah.
What is curious to me, and I know we're jumping forward somewhat, a box that's filled with air, essentially. The fact that it sinks right to the bottom like a stone, and Scarlet and Snake Eyes have to jump in after it. I mean, those boxes would be bobbing on the surface for a good long while before they took on enough water.
Maybe Jinx had put a big enough hole in it with her punch for her one to have started taking on water more rapidly.
Larry, give that man a no prize.
One thing I do want to touch on here is Snake Eyes, Roadblock and Scarlet have come to Dublin to, I guess, have they just been deployed there because we haven't heard from Jinx and Pale Peony? They haven't done their regular check-in, call-in signal.
Oh, and of course, Chuckles has drawn the connection between all the references to the Fair City and Dublin.
Yeah.
What super spy sleuthing that took.
Yes. And so they've dispatched these guys to follow up the lead, or the trail's gone dead, the communications have gone dead, so they send these three guys over. And one thing I want to pick up, which we have seen with fairly regular occurrence in all of G.I. Joe comics, is the security guard at the Dublin airport, or whoever it is, she's looking at passports, and Snake Eyes' passport has a black piece of tape over it, and she's like, right, I'm going to peel this tape off, then look under your mask. She peels the tape off, and she does the standard Larry Hama or written face of aghastness, of what a horror face this is. And then she says, I don't need to look under your mask. But I was just thinking, what if this guy was just a regular Joe Public who had been caught in a really bad car accident or a fire, and he had a disfigured face, and he had a mask on to kind of hide it from the public? Is it a fair reaction to just say, you're so disgustingly ugly?
Oh, Siobhan, hey? She's not particularly sensitive, is she?
No, but that's the reaction that everyone gives. I know it's a way to show how badly disfigured he is, but I don't know, it just feels a bit unsensitive from everyone.
Big time. And you just reminded me of a quote from issue 155. There must have been a time, like post Snake Eyes' disfigurement and burns, where he didn't have a rubber mask. And he wrote in the letter to Sean Collins that he got used to people talking to him while staring at his top button on his shirt.
Right, okay.
That people would avert their eyes downwards.
Nice, yeah.
And not look him in the face.
Yeah.
So it says to me that, that for a time he did walk around burned.
Yeah.
Maybe that was just while he was recuperating in the wards. Maybe after getting rotated into G.I. Joe work, it was rather cumbersome to be disfigured. I mean, it just occurs to me, what was it like for the rest of the team to have Snake Eyes back? Surely they must have all thought, this guy's going to retire, take his Purple Hearts and his disability benefits and live the good life.
Yeah, all those medals locked in the vaults that he can never actually access.
But no, he came back into G.I. Joe. Yeah. Crazy, man. Crazy. But I suppose it's a practical thing. You can't be sitting on an airline with a face that looks like a...
Let's break this down. There's three main kind of things run through these issues. We've got the Dublin stuff, we've got the stuff in the pit, and then we've got the stuff with Fred. So yeah, let's discuss all this Dublin stuff first.
Just to cap off Siobhan, though, there's some serious like workplace inappropriateness going on there between her and her boss.
Yeah. Yeah, he gives her a little peck on the cheek, and
not have to read between the lines too much. I mean, was that a tattoo? Is that a cheeky little emoji? He's basically blowing her a kiss, and Gallant has actually drawn a heart.
Yes.
And she says, "Oh, go on, you big lug." And he says, "I owe you a big one, Siobhan." Oh, zing!
Yeah, zing, double zing, big zing. There you go.
It's the Wild West in Dublin, bro.
That's it. Anything goes, man. Anything goes. Guinness on tap. We find out that Jinx, before they go in the river, Jinx and Pale Peony are in these boxes. And is it made clear that the person driving this truck is 921? I guess it is, because at the end of the last issue, she's dragging them by the hair, saying you're going to be dissected and analysed and all that kind of stuff before you're killed. So I guess it is, but the thing that made me think it wasn't is she was about 8 to 9 foot tall previously when we'd seen her, unless there was big heels on those samurai shoes. But here she's just looking regular sized in all the scenes she's in, driving the truck and the fighting.
Hey man, maybe it's a real big truck. It's that kind of forced perspective.
Oversized truck, yeah, just for giants.
Geez. Good question, man. I'm actually trying to get a handle on the scaling of her. I mean, there are combat sections where you've got her facing off against guys, but they're never drawn. Well, no, I suppose Roadblock kind of puts his foot through the front glass of the truck.
Yep.
And they are pretty similar in size, I'd say, judging from that piece of artwork. And of course, Roadblock is a giant. You know, he is not a normal sized man.
No.
So I don't know, Chief. I couldn't honestly tell you.
Yeah, she makes the decision quite early, 921, to dump this cargo. It felt like she really needed to get these two, I say two Joes, because I guess Pale Peony technically is one now, but get these two Joes back to wherever this Revanche secret base was to, dissect them and take them apart. But she's quite happy to dump them into the river just to get her exfil sorted.
The wet cement of these villains' motivations. I guess maybe she was just trying to score points with her bosses.
Yes.
But when it hit the fan, she was like, let me lose these guys. Maybe they'll throw, what's his name? Oh, McCarthy. Gerard McCarthy. Throw him off her track.
Yeah. And she mysteriously gets blown up because Roadblock, how does he take him out? Oh no, there's the truck crashes, doesn't it? Sorry, the truck crashes and she's gone and Pale Peony is gone, presumed dead because there's a big pile of ashes. yeah,
big time. That's not a great way to go, huh?
Well, I don't know. And again, I can't remember, but my first assumption is that Pale Peony is clearly not dead. She's jumped out of this truck and in the river or something. But if this is her dead, it seems a very low-key way to go out. Well, not low-key, but just in terms of, no one's grieving or mourning, and it's just move on to the next plot point. So I'm anticipating her return, but I don't know.
Yeah, keep that candle burning, Chief.
Oh wow, okay.
Could come any day now.
Okay,
I don't know.
right.
Look, honestly, we're heading into uncharted territory for me as well.
Okay, fine. I'm going to carry this plot point into the next issue, and then we'll go back and talk about the pit stuff. Just because we're on a good thread here. They end up in the Revanche Electronics headquarters in Dublin, the Joes and our man Jerry, and I had to Google something here because the receptionist says, and I'm not going to try and butcher Gaelic speak, but it's something. I thought, what's she speaking here? And it turns out it's like special detectives. Anod specialta bleshta recta. There you go. I did butcher it.
I'm not going to butcher Gaelic. I'm going to butcher Gaelic.
So I googled it, and that's like special detective units. So
very good.
Because they weren't actually referenced at the beginning of the last issue about who this unit was that Scarlet and the guys had hooked up with, but now we know there's special detective unit. And
real thing?
I think so, because when I googled that phrase, that Gaelic phrase, it did come back with a hit that looked, correct and proper.
cool.
So Larry's done research there, which is nice.
I get the feeling that Larry's in recent to writing this script, he had visited Ireland. He had visited Dublin.
Right.
There was a letters page hint that he dropped that like he was going to a convention in the United Kingdom and probably Dublin, probably Ireland as well.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that would make sense because I met him at the UK convention.
In 2014.
He was there in 2013 and 2014. I met him both
so
times.
he says that visiting that region always kind of reinvigorates his desire to kind of break out of the box and visit European locations.
Yep, I think you're probably right. Would have been lovely to have a UK-based storyline, but there you go.
Damn.
These Revanche guys don't waste any time in assuming threats are around the corner, because this receptionist has basically got up from her desk and has some kind of inbuilt guns in her forearms and ammo belts attached out of her triceps.
Brilliant. You seldom see like practical details like bullet belts and bandoliers. Like the feed goes out of her triceps, as you said, into her body. She's a very slinky body. I mean, she's like a fembot, dude.
Yes.
With like
yes.
calf-high boots and a very short dress. So where she's storing her ammunition must be in her booty. Because there is not much meat, or well, I don't suppose it is meat. It's probably synthetic, I don't know, meat substitute, making up this robot. She can't have too much ammunition in there, but I'll take it. Oh, so often do we see like characters deploy like rotary cannons, mini-guns from their hands and stuff, and you're wondering to yourself, okay, that thing spits out like 1,000 rounds a minute or more.
Yeah.
Where are you keeping all the bullets?
One of them that's engaging Scarlet and Jinx has got like almost a broadsword that's come out of her arm. So these guys aren't messing about.
X-Men Origins, Wolverine's Deadpool.
This felt like an X-Men comic. This scene felt like an X-Men comic. It really did.
Totally.
You know, they felt like X-Men villains. Spiral and Lady Deathstrike and all these kind of characters just gave it that feel. And look at Roadblock. Look at the size of his gun on that page where Jerry has shot this fembot in the face.
Yeah.
And Roadblock's got his 50 cal over his shoulder. I mean, that's a hefty weapon. And he's also hauling a big mallet in the other hand.
that Roadblock should come with that accessory. In fact, I think he
great.
did at some stage.
Really?
It's some big old tool. Yeah.
Well, he uses it later on. There is a scene that I'll talk about in a minute in between. But he uses it later on to smash. They've made it into the creche, which is what they were trying to defend. And he's effectively killing... Oh no, the first one is he uses it to smash the door open, but then when they get into the creche, 921 is there back in the Silver Samurai garb, and this is where we find out that is there multiple 921s or versions of that thing, because it's almost like there's one host body locked in cryogen or some kind of containment
one
system.
consciousness,
like a hive mind, yeah.
It's the mind controlling the impervious, indestructible body.
Yes, and you would imagine this is an actual real person, and Roadblock just straight up murders them. Basically takes a sledgehammer and crushes their skull in. Yeah?
After Scarlet tells off Jinx, like, don't go in there looking for revenge, we want to take this thing alive.
Yeah.
Roadblock just performs the coup de grace. Oy.
Yeah,
okay,
and
get your story straight, guys.
I don't know where the line comes between taking prisoners and just flat out murdering someone, a defenseless... Okay, fine, this hive mind is controlling these other things that are trying to off the Joe team.
Yeah, but presumably it is a human being lying in some kind of stasis. It's completely defenseless at that stage.
And he has literally...
Show some restraint. Jinx gets a silenced pistol in the beginning of the sequence.
She does, yes.
She subsequently doesn't ever use it, but that's nice. I've never seen her handling firearms.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And what do you think about... Once they've breached, they're going into the creche, but first of all, they're encountering one looks like a six-legged Ravage. Definitely the head looks kind of Ravage-ish, Transformers, although more eyes.
From the Bay movies.
Yes, from the Bay movies. And then we also get an Ed 209 straight out of RoboCop, although here he's called TK 209.
Very good. What do you suppose the TK stands for?
Don't know.
Nah, I couldn't tell you either.
Got nothing. But
TK426, take over.
TK421.
421.
Yeah, come
Oh,
on.
gee, you're killing me, man.
TK421, take over. We got a bad
Damn it.
transmitter.
I really need to watch Star Wars again, but I can't bring myself to watch anything other than the bloody theatrical releases. And we just gotten Disney Plus. Okay, the wife caved. I didn't do it.
Okay.
But of course, I
Right.
can't watch that shit.
Well, I'll tell you what you can watch is you can go and stick on the Clone Wars and you can go and listen to Clone Wars
I can
Dispatch.
finally do that, or do
Yes.
it properly at least.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Hey,
What do you
Chief,
think?
did you notice that we've got a Commonwealth colloquialism that I entered into the lexicon pop up on one of the pages?
You're talking about Liffey?
No, schmozzle.
Oh, schmozzle.
Yeah.
Where's that?
Which
I missed it.
I listed. It's on in my digits called page 6. It's probably page 7.
It's on a page. It's on a page.
It's on a page.
Schmozzle.
It's
yeah.
good old whatever his name is, the security dude, the
Jerry.
local enforcement guy, Jerry. He says, "Hit 3." Oh fuck! I can't do. Not Irish. Not Irish.
don't do
Just
that.
Suck it on my thumb. Hit 3, and you'll be gone unless you're in the mood for a bit of a schmozzle yourself.
More Scottish. That sounded Scottish. Well,
God damn it!
kind of like an Indian
Jesus.
Scottish hybrid.
That had a face like a backside of a Kilkenny wheelie bin. To the lift then. Hit 3, and you'll be gone unless you're in the mood for a bit of a schmozzle yourself.
Anyway,
Anyways, you get what I'm talking about. He's
Yes.
telling a goober, a little techie, a nerdy dude in the lift to, hit the floor on the lift and then get the hell out.
yeah. Yes, Silver Samurai back again, looking bigger again now. Once she's back in her outfit, but interesting that they go with this kind of hive mind mentality thing, because that was almost a successor to the BN001, which was kind of a similar thing. Was he a hive mind or not?
BN001, no, the robots could move and attack independently of BN001.
Yes.
But the hive mind aspect came in the fact that like they could download themselves or upload themselves into a kind of a cloud,
Right.
and carry on. Like BN001's consciousness wouldn't be lost to the world if the body was destroyed.
No.
I think that's what I got from that.
Right, okay, yes. And this is kind of the third iteration, I guess, from the Blue Ninja to the CBX units, now to these kind of... Well, she called herself, in the previous episode we covered, she called herself the ultimate advancement in humanity, or some words to that effect. So,
Based upon what? I think this is
Yeah.
a bit of a downgrade, to be honest. To have the O2 Easy taken out controlling consciousness, once you've located that and it's a physical thing, you can destroy it. It's like the bloody escape clause on the episode 1. You destroy the droid army by taking out the control ship.
Yes,
That's it.
yes.
They all switch off.
yeah.
I mean,
And
come
also, if you've got to go around wearing a big samurai outfit, that's going to hamper you a little bit, I think, your
on.
army.
Just a little bit.
But
I don't know how Scarlet figured it all out. She's theorized everything basically, based upon very little evidence. But
Yeah.
hey, she's a
But,
yo-yo.
and that's kind of how that storyline kind of concludes across these two issues. That's it. Roadblock has smashed up the hive mind controlling unit or person, and I guess we see where that goes in upcoming issues. The other storyline we're obviously going to have a look at across these two issues is the Big Eyeball, which I believe is in 207. They reference. It's almost a reference to kind of Area 51, because he says Roswell, doesn't he? He says the real action was happening here. So G.I. Joe is becoming a X-Files book to a certain extent, because we're basically saying this is an alien life form, I assume, from outer space.
Oh yes, but
Yeah.
in the same breath, not a transformer.
No.
I think definitively by having Storm Shadow reappear by distracting everyone with a Bumblebee movie-verse action figure.
Yep.
That, along with the appearance of Jetfire / Megatron in Special Missions 5 Showdown. But basically, it says to me that in Larry Hama's G.I. Joe universe, Transformers are a work of fiction.
Yes.
Because there are toys based on them.
Correct. We've seen someone in the Night Raven issue where he gives out toys, only give a Jetfire, and he calls it something else. He calls it Megatron or something, doesn't he?
Other way around, yeah.
Okay, right.
It's a
yeah,
Megatron action figure that he calls Jetfire and says, hey, it transforms into a swing wing fighter. No, it doesn't. It transforms into a Nazi pistol. But anyways.
Easy mistake to make.
Was Pale Peony an Arashikage?
Well, has she got did she have the tattoo or not?
Not that I could see. She had stars, and she would wear a armband that had the Japanese rising sun.
Yeah. I want to say no then.
But, yeah, she seems to be given, like, Arashikage burial rites. I mean,
Yes.
her ashes are in an urn that bears the hexagram.
Yep.
And Storm Shadow's saying, I'm going to take this back to Demon Granny.
Yeah. Maybe she just gets the benefit of a friend of the family.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, she died basically on a Arashikage quest. It was Demon Granny that sent her and Jinx on this mission.
Well, no, wait a minute. She's not dead. She's not dead. I'm telling you.
all right. From the ashes.
Presumed dead.
Literally.
Yes, yeah. Just very, very quickly, jumping back to this big eye thing, how do you feel about the Joes effectively just being the little man, the pawns? Because Joe is saying, look, you only got the Defiant and you got all this equipment and this base and everything. You only got all that as a cover for us to do our alien investigations. So you're just pawns in a bigger picture, really.
Now, that's clever on at least one or two fronts. Because there has been a lingering question, and it has come up in a recent letters page, in fact. Like, how does G.I. Joe have the budget to maintain an aircraft carrier and a space shuttle?
Yes,
And
yes.
and the second part to that request was, like, can we see the Defiant in action again? And Larry was like, it ain't easy to work in a space shuttle complex to,
Yep.
you know, the regular story that I'm trying to tell. Like, it would take, you know, it would be a break from the norm. It would be its own special thing.
Yes.
I think the request still stands, but that was how he kind of doused some water on those flames. But yeah, like, this is his in-universe way of saying, okay, G.I. Joe, an anti-terrorist task force, this is why they've got access to all these toys.
Yeah.
Because they're taking out more than just blue-shirted baddies.
Yeah, it kind of adds another layer of depth, doesn't it? And just answers a few questions that have been niggling around. What
Do you like that as a reason for those things, Chief?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps to make sense of it. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. What I don't understand is how they know that a nuke is not going to blow up this eyeball thing. Because Duke says, "Do you even know if a nuke will phase it?" And they say, "A nuke won't dent it." Well, how do you know? Unless you try it, how do you know? I'm not advocating trying out a nuke just for the sake of it, but basically they don't want to. There needs to be nothing that can destroy it, so we need to effectively control it instead. And I suspect this is going to go nowhere. Do we actually find out what this eyeball is either A, attached to, or what the agenda is? Or, well, in actual fact, we do get a reveal of who they want to be controlling it, and that is a presumed dead ex-Cobra.
Bizarre, man. But interesting. I don't know. On some level, like fan service.
Yeah.
I thought Larry Hama hated Serpentor.
Right.
But, like, what is old is new again. And, I don't know, it's an interesting choice. It almost felt like a Captain America reveal. It's like, we need someone true of heart and forthright and tactical genius and someone who can mold to our own purposes.
Yes.
Like, and we've pulled them off the ice. It's like, it's very Captain America, and then boom, the reveal. Hey, it's Serpentor.
Yeah.
Still with that gory eye wound from Zartan's arrow.
And do we actually know what this eye thing does yet? No.
No, just that it's coming online, and that it's sort of super technology. It's not organic, strictly speaking.
And they wanted a blank slate for a person to control it. So rather than, put one of themselves under or in containment or whatever, let's just use the body of Serpentor. Where did they get that from? Last we saw, I'm pretty sure Cobra had it packed on ice at one point.
Sure, that ice melted a long time ago. Wasn't it with Mindbender and the landlocked freighter?
Yeah.
And Cobra Commander sent that down a river and into a volcano and then caved the volcano on top of it. So presumably the ruins of Cobra Island entombed his remains.
I'd like to see that as a special mission. A team of Alpine, Hit and Run, and some other rough terrain, hostile terrain troops going into Cobra Island and retrieving Serpentor's body. That'd be quite a nice little special mission.
I'll go you one better. There was a G.I. Joe book fan fiction where, which we kind of role played on the show one night in anticipation of Halloween, where it was Tales from the Arbco Star.
Right.
Three cobras team up to try and find their way out
Oh, wow.
of this tomb. Yeah. And they actually do encounter a reanimated corpse of Serpentor.
Cool.
Interesting times, man.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
shuffles into the darkness. He wants to know from them individually, like, what they thought of his leadership.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was an interesting time.
The other kind of plot point here is the Fred that we've seen in recent issues, 172.
The one with the family, with the
172.
girls.
So he's got the family and in Seattle, and she's kind of saying, the mother is kind of saying, look, messing around and doing certain stuff is one thing, but you know your job currently as air traffic controller, there's civilian lives at stake. Maybe you shouldn't, maybe we should get out of this Cobra life and go away and evac, so to speak. And he's like, I'll go and think about it. And I was like, all right, yeah, that seems okay. And then I really loved the reveal, though, that she was playing him all along. And she was like, this is Chloe, 586. Nice reference that there are serialized female agents. We have a problem with Fred 172. We did the standard test on him just now and he wavered. We may have to take drastic action. So, what are they thinking? They're thinking we're going to have to straight up kill off Fred 172 or what? I mean, I don't know. It's not really like that kind of intrigue in the last couple of panels. And that's where we see at the end of the issue, he teams up with, or he's about to team up with Scrap Iron, Copperhead and Firefly, yeah.
Hang on, isn't that a different Fred?
Oh, is it?
This is the Fred that's working with
oh, yes, Wendy.
Lynn
Sorry.
Torres.
That's Fred 192. Sorry, Fred 191. Fred 191 is working with Wendy, and he has now got the Cobra guests. You're right, and of course, Fred 172 is the one who is having second thoughts about being an agent of Cobra.
Clever to have the old trope getting flipped.
Yeah.
I said it before, I'm a fan of the female Cobra operatives now testing their CG surrogate father and husband.
Yes.
That's cool. Love it. Yeah. And I love the way it develops. I can recall that from my previous read of these issues.
Right, okay.
So it must have stuck with me.
Good stuff,
yeah,
good stuff.
Man.
Anything else we want to discuss about these issues?
The superhero stuff is going to be with us for some time, Chief. I mean,
Okay.
like, at one point, Snake Eyes is doing cartwheels through the hail of bullets that Roadblock is spitting out with his M2.
Right.
There are smarter ways of doing action. Larry himself is responsible for those smarter ways. I mean, like, all the action in 21 is plausible and well-paced. This is just all-out mayhem. You can either be a fan of it or not. I'm less inclined to enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm just wondering do we Yo Joe here? I'm just thinking 206. Maybe we could do 206, 207 and 208. Because 206 is where Duke kind of sees the eyeball for the first time and Pale Peony and Jinx go to Dublin. And that Dublin stuff is kind of wrapped up here at the end of 208. And it looks like I'm flicking forward to 209. We might be getting some newish stuff going on. So I think we can probably Yo Joe 206 to 208.
Okay. 206 to 208. Whoa. Chief, it's a 5 for me once again. Not mad about the Silver Samurai. And she was the big threat
Yes.
in this sequence. I love me some motorway mayhem, but there are characters that I give rocks about in it.
Yep.
If this was Destro on the highway, like, there are very impervious Cobras that have been made to be near invulnerable in our minds.
Yes.
Like, that would be a match for these guys with their technology, their skills. But instead, we're going further down the revenge path. And anytime we diverge from, like, characters that I care about, the scores get very low, unfortunately.
Yeah. I
How about you, Chief?
I think I'm coming in with a 5.5 Yo Joeage.
Right on.
So yeah, good stuff. So we're actually
Good stuff.
No, good stuff that we were able to Yo Joe it, I think. If you should be listening and you are reading along, then please be aware we are covering 3 issues next week. So that will be 209, 210 and 211 to make way for the following week where we will be doing 4 issues, which will be the 4-issue arc of Death of Snake Eyes. Oh, spoiler.
Woo!
and we are hoping to have a special guest on for that particular episode. Won't say just yet until it's all confirmed and in the bank, but hopefully we'll give that confirmation next week. But just a reminder, 3 issues for next week. So read them if you must. Well, you should really. So right now, though, it's time to talk about toys, and I need to do some guessing. Steve talks about toys, ho ho. Steve talks about G.I. Joe. He talks about all the toys from the comic book and the animated show. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys. Steve talks about toys.
Just one thing before we move on to toys. Chief, I noticed on a letters page a question that I had got addressed by the man. So, way back when, several years of issues worth back into the annals of history, there was a tank battle where the good guy's tank, an M1 Abrams, was manned by Steeler, Covergirl, Cross Country, and Wildcard. Wildcard was the tank commander.
Ah, yes.
Even though, in terms of seniority and rank, he is the lowest rung on those particular Joe's ladder. This was asked of Larry, specifically since Steeler is in fact an officer, and Larry shot back by saying that in special operations groups, it's not the most highly ranked officer that is in charge. Oftentimes, it is the soldier with the most experience in that field. Yeah, I've heard that justification before, but this time I don't think Wildcard is even that. Why would he be the most experienced? I don't know. Steeler's been with the team from the get-go.
Yep.
I just guess I'm poking holes in it, and I'm not looking for a no prize, so I'm not going to try and find some justification. I think Wildcard is a far more memorable character, and that's why Larry picked him.
Yep.
Simple.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But which toy are you guessing for this episode's Toy Talk, brother?
So this episode, now then, I don't think there was ever a 921 figure made.
You'd be right.
Have we had Jinx before? If we haven't, I'm saying Jinx.
Okay.
If we have, I am saying... Oh, there's definitely no eyeball been made. I'm saying Jinx.
Good guess. I love me some Jinx, but actually, I think it's time we spoke a little bit about Roadblock.
Oh, nice.
Specifically, for this Toy Talk, I'm going to talk about Roadblock version 2, which is the focus of this issue. That's his light or lime green body warmer over a white t-shirt with light grey pants, dark boots. He came with actually a Belgian weapon.
Okay.
So it's a departure from his M2 Browning. It was called the L7A2, which is actually a infantry-used weapon, whereas the M2 Browning, that's something that you're going to mount to a tank or a jeep.
Yep.
This thing is carried in the field by infantrymen, so somewhat of a downgrade from Roadblock's primary iron, but a welcome addition. I mean, this is a far more practical weapon to have in the field. Let's be fair. Roadblock manipulating that M2 Browning is impressive, but at what cost? It weighs a ton, and even on a big man like Rhodey, I'm sure it takes its toll.
Yeah.
And it's unwieldy. Like, I don't know, we didn't talk about it at the time, but there was that issue where Darkline is able to get the jump on him while he's busting out of the pit.
Yes, I remember that.
And Roadblock tries to use his M2 Browning as a weapon, but really it just gets in the way. And I'm sure, man, he must get fatigued picking that thing up all the time. So this thing, one can't talk about Roadblock without spending some time talking about the weapon. This gun has been oversized. The action figure's weapon is probably like a third bigger than it is, accurately scaled. But that was also symptomatic of the 1986 and onwards eras of G.I. Joe. They tended to oversize the weapon slightly.
Right.
It has a sculpted bipod, which is accurate to the actual firearm. But of course, the bipod can't be deployed. You can't sort of flip it forward and separate the legs. This is a standard infantry weapon used by the British Army. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, man. It's called the GPMG, the General Purpose Machine Gun.
Okay.
Fires a 7.62 millimeter round. And yeah, man, this thing's been around since the 1950s. But obviously it's been refined quite a bit. And that's why it finds its way not into the hands of a British soldier, but a real American hero called Roadblock.
Yeah.
We would be remiss if we didn't talk about his file card. His name is Hinton Marvin F. He's a heavy machine gunner, primary military specialty, heavy infantry weapons, secondary military specialty, cook. Birthplace, Biloxi, Mississippi, grade E4. Roadblock's dream was to be a gourmet chef. He was working as a bouncer to earn money to attend the Escoffier school in France when an army recruiter convinced him that the army could train him. Roadblock joined, but found army menus and preparation techniques too appalling. Transferred to the infantry. Qualified expert, M2 Browning, 50 cal, heavy machine gun. It doesn't specify, so I guess that means all of them. And then it goes one further and says, all Warsaw-packed heavy MGs. That's a lot of guns, man.
Yeah, right.
M16, M19, 11A1 auto pistol. And then it goes into a blurb about the 50 cal, which is lifted from his version 1 file card, which is unfortunate because they don't really talk about the GPMG at all.
Okay.
But it's cool stuff to talk about, even though you aren't getting that accessory with the figure. Hopefully you've got it from your version 1. A 50 cal Browning weighs 84 pounds. Add 50 pounds for the ammo. That's about 134 pounds of steel, generating 2,930 foot per second in muzzle velocity at a cyclic rate of 550 rounds per minute. Anybody who could handle that doesn't need a machine gun to keep me away.
Nice.
Which almost seems like a quote from rock and roll. Because remember when chimney sweepers come to dust, like the Rattler gets shot down by... well, ostensibly Duke and Roadblock, but whereas Duke's packing a Colt 1911, Roadblock's the one really packing the firepower. It's laughable to think that Duke was able to add anything
Yeah, right. He's
to
just
the
there
barrage
to make
of
up
fire.
the numbers. Yeah.
Totally. So the gun he comes with in this version is like accurate up to like 1,500 meters. It can put holes through cinder block walls or even brick if you're using armor-piercing rounds. But I mean, the M2 is like the finger of God, man. That can put rounds through like solid steel plate.
Yep.
So it is a downgrade. What is not a downgrade is the overall figure. I mean, he's now got a ball-jointed neck, a much more expressive face than his original. What do you think of the uniform, Chief? I mean, is it preferable to his like standard wife beater and brown pants?
I think it took me a little while to get used to the change, but I actually quite like it now.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. It's unfortunate that he now no longer comes with a helmet. Like,
Yeah.
I find that a practical omission that, like, even Roadblock, who's showing a lot of skin, like, in his version 1, he's not going to take a tumble from a Silver Mirage without, protecting his noggin.
Correct.
Like, he's got that practicality sorted out. But then, in his media appearances, he never used it. So, I guess this is the toy bowing to the fact that the helmet, while a very practical inclusion, isn't, from a design point of view, going to be picked up and carried on. He also trades in all the wealth of other accessories for this flimsy tripod, which I dislike, man.
Okay.
I first got this accessory with Sonic Fighters Lore,
Right.
and it came with a black version of this same MG. But it's frail, man. It always gets bent out of shape. The sort of support between the two front legs always gets snapped. In fact, I think even on 3D Joe's, the one that's pictured is snapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he
you're
doesn't have a
right. Yeah,
backpack.
yeah.
Give the man a backpack. Like
he needs
a
a
machine
backpack.
gun with no ammunition? Come on.
Yeah. Agree. Are you overall a fan, though, or not?
I never was.
Right.
In fact, Roadblock is a toy that I never had as a child. And I'm finding the love for him now because he's an absolute joy to script. Like, in my little, like, playtime adventures, Roadblock is a lot of fun. He's just a very large personality, and I do delve into his little tick from the cartoon, which is he likes to speak in rhyme from time to time.
Yes. And he teams up very well with Major Blood, I think.
Block and Blood, dude. Yeah, perfect. Exactly. How much fun was that?
That was
so
great.
much fun.
Yeah, that was
you,
great.
You do a damn fine Marvin F. Hinton, my
Well,
friend.
I'm not sure. If you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you listen to the last couple of minutes of the previous episode. But, yeah, good stuff.
Did
No,
you have this toy, Chief?
never had any version of Roadblock.
Right. Yeah, same as me, man. We missed that step, sadly.
Yes.
I think, to be fair, he's probably the last Joe I've purchased.
Okay.
So I've got him on my desk right now, and I love this figure, man.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't have feeble arms that the first version had, sadly.
Yes.
Like, so the sculpt does improve in a number of ways, but there's some puzzling aspects to him. He does share the kind of same color palette as Cross Country,
Yes, he does. You're right. Yep.
which creates a nice like symmetry between the two characters, but really they would never work together very closely. I mean, we've got an infantryman who's slogging it in the field, and then you've got a vehicle driver who's always going to be pushing a really heavy vehicle,
Yeah.
like the Havoc or the Mauler. But hey, it's nice to see them together. They certainly look like they belong in the same unit.
Yeah. But how many versions? I haven't. Normally, I start googling different versions. Is there any other version worth looking at?
Within the vintage run, the subsequent version to this, and I'm not talking about Tiger Force, though the Tiger Force version is a lot of fun. He's got a tiger stripe yellow helmet.
Nice.
But the version that was released in the 90s is excellent. Great
Okay.
face sculpt. Even gives him a kind of a Ving Rhames, Marcellus Wallace gold
right.
earring.
Wow.
It's so good, dude. Then in the modern era, I'd say the finest roadblock, and I'm talking strictly speaking roadblock here, not the rock block. Good old Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Bless, that ain't roadblock. There was a really cool version created in homage to the Resolute cartoon.
Okay.
Really hulking body sculpts, nice secondary over the top, and a nice callback to his version 1, but more practical. Like, it looks like he's wearing a flak jacket or sort of armored vest. And he's got knee pads. Yeah, just overall really, really nice figure.
Cool.
Came with
I'll check
an
those out.
awesome looking weapon. Kind of futuristic, but gave the size of the M2. It felt like it was a similar caliber weapon.
Yeah.
Enough to bring down an aircraft, you know?
Yeah. I'm no toy expert or anything, but from what I've seen of the 6-inch roadblock, looks really good. The classified one.
Which is an homage to version 2.
Yes.
With that kind of lime green vest. And the distinctive kind of clasps, those red clasps. So that's definitely their kind of, at least in Hasbro's
Flavor,
mind,
yeah.
the most iconic look for Roadblock. I don't know, it's somewhere between this version 2 and the version 1. The jury's out, but I don't know, Chief. Cast your vote, man. Version 1 or version 2 for you?
I don't know. It would be different day of the week. I'd probably pick a different one.
I'm gonna go version 2
Okay.
with the Marduce.
Yep. Yeah.
Gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta be.
Good combo. Yeah. You probably nailed it there.
I wonder if the backpack fits into version 2's back hole. I cannot confirm.
Something to find out. More toys next week. Chief on a run of one defeat now. See if I can get back onto the winning trail of guessing. But right now it's time to confuse some people with over egg in the pudding, aka British colloquialisms. I think I got those the wrong way around, but it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. We got a pudding. We got a pudding. We're gonna over egg that pudding. Ain't got no criticisms. We got some Commonwealth colloquialisms.
All right, a British colloquialism then. Gosh.
Oh, did I say British colloquialism?
What would I be referring to if I was saying I'm going to go down to the chippy?
Oh, right. Oh, I thought when I said I got them the wrong way around, I thought I said Commonwealth colloquialism normally comes first before aka over egg in the pudding, but I think I said over egg in the pudding first. But then are you saying I followed it up with British colloquialism instead of Commonwealth colloquialism? Because I can't even remember 30
it's
seconds
pandemonium at Talking Joe
Oh,
tonight,
my
ladies and
goodness,
gentlemen.
oh, my
But
ago. If you're going down the... No, you can do your normal South African or Australian.
all right, Chief. Okay, no, this is more of a dialectual thing that I've found quite a quirk. Maybe Aussies out there can correct me if I'm barking up the wrong tree, but I spoke to one Australian and she agreed with me that this is an interesting quirk of the language. So in Australian dialect, you would say arse, like arsehole,
Yes.
an arsehole,
Yes.
and not ass. So yeah, arsehole would be the pronunciation of an arsehole. But then, how would you say BADASS?
So it can't be bad ass.
Badass. Yeah, I'm a real badass. I find that very amusing, and so
Yes.
did she. But
Yes.
I don't know. I suppose maybe you modify it and then just say badass. A badass.
Yeah.
But yeah, she, as I say, very amused by that.
Interesting.
Moving on to the British colloquialism, if you please.
If I had a problem with my bonce,
Your head.
yes,
Got a headache?
yeah. I think you even used the
old
word
bonce.
bonce, did you? On maybe. You didn't.
Maybe, yeah, no, Chief, I'm a man of the world, or at least I was before the world shut down.
It may well have been when I was watching Diagnostic 80's Cobra Convergence video of top 10 most wanted classified figures. And I think actually which I watched I think yesterday, which he actually referred to one of the characters' heads as bonce. And I thought, oh, I'll steal that. I'll steal that. And also at the start
Good
of the video,
one.
at the start of the video, he said it's got me buzzing my berries, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, it's a little callback to his time on Talking Joe. Episode 80, check it out, yo.
What have you got for me now?
South African one, this came up in the realm of gaming. Maybe it's global, maybe it's South African, maybe it's very, very, very specific to my region. But if you are cowarding, what are you doing?
If you're cowarding, running away? It's too simple, it's too obvious.
I think the term in gaming lexicon or gaming lingo is
Sniping?
cheesing.
Okay,
Cheesing. This is in a fighting game specifically.
right. Okay.
Basically, if you've got someone in the corner
Yep,
and you found a combo that is just keeping them from getting up.
yep.
That's
Cheesing.
in at least like the circles that I ran in as a kid in Cape Town. You were cowarding me, bro.
Okay.
Don't coward, man.
I might have something in one of my boxes up in the loft that. Yes, I'll take a picture. If I find it, I'll take a picture, and I might have a cheese reference in a fighting game for you. So stay tuned for that on the socials if I can find it. You're
Delicious.
scratching your head thinking, I don't know what's going on here. But anyway, more confusion next week as always. But right now, we will close the show out with the usual. We asked you a question, the listeners being you, and you responded ever so well on the socials. So here we read out your responses.
Excellent, Chief.
Wow,
Chief, overwhelming response,
we had an
man.
influx.
Wow, where do you begin?
Yeah, so we posted the question. There's so many people creating great G.I. Joe content out there. Who are your favourites, and are there any that are kind of flying a bit under the radar that deserve more recognition for their work? And like you said, the people came out in droves for this one, and we had so many nominations. And this is not, just to set the record straight, this is not a popularity contest. We're not saying who is the best, that kind of thing. It's just to broaden everyone's knowledge base to say, look, there's people out here you might not have heard of. Go and check out their great work. That's what it was all about, really.
Facebook was quite tame. We had lovely mentions of other podcasts like Joe on Joe, What's on Joe Mind. But if you really want to get a community overload, check out Talking Joe Instagram. That became a very, very vibrant case of atting and hashtagging.
Yeah. 67 comments, which is, massive.
I went through the post, and anyone that I wasn't following, I hit follow on.
It was really, really good. And like I said at the top, that it opened my eyes to so many people that I wasn't aware of, and whether that's shame on me or not for not, having done more research and searched out prior, but it's more a case of...
Chief, you're new to this game, my friend.
Yeah, and it's definitely, if I had heard or known about 30 to 40% of all the people mentioned, I am most definitely going to check out 100% of everyone that was mentioned on all of the platforms, all social media platforms, that everyone who responded suggesting content creator, I am trust the chief that I am going to check out every single one of them. So it's good. It's almost like served double purpose. It's helping people to give recognition to those that they like, but it's also served the purpose of helping the chief out to consume more great content. So thank you for that, everyone.
Though, buried in the Twitter thread, we've got an interesting request from Octavio Padilla. Can we have a G.I. Joe action figure playoff bracket? Huh? What do you think of that,
You
Chief?
must have done that on Joburg before.
Yes, we have. We've done it with artworks, with action figure card art and vehicle box art.
Okay.
But never with the action figures themselves.
Okay.
So I put it to Octavia, and maybe I should put it to you as well, Chief. How do we work it? Do we have listeners suggest their favorites, and then we take the top voted suggestions and then put them in a, I don't know, 8v8 bracket.
And is it G.I. Joe versus Cobra, or is it G.I. Joe in a half of the draw versus Cobra in a half of the draw to have?
I was thinking just a giant battle royale.
Oh, so all against all.
The ultimate figures, all just thrown into a 16-figure bracket.
I think it might be we're spitballing here. We're maybe going off topic a little bit, but maybe it would be an idea rather than get everyone to suggest everyone's going to suggest their favourite figure, which is kind of what we want. So then we've got a broad scope of everyone's favourites, and it might turn people's heads to say, oh, actually, I hadn't considered that. But maybe we should take like some wild cards. So we could have a 32-man field, take in the top 20 requested figures, and then we'll just randomly chuck in another 12 that no one's even suggested.
It's a big old bracket right there, my man.
Something to think about.
Yep, big time.
But yeah, thank you for that. This I'm just going through all the threads now, and so many mentions here for everyone. This is good because I need new hobbies and new things to do. I've got nothing, I've got nothing on my plate at the moment. That was sarcasm, by the way.
Well, in this era of Cobra Convergence, I think it is important to if you don't know about these guys, look them up. Widen your horizons. One content creator who maybe was almost too obvious to list, but has put out the definitive G.I. Joe or Cobra musical representation wasn't mentioned. And it's gotta be Word Burglar.
There you go.
Oh my word. His concept album, Welcome to Cobra Island. If this is coming as news to any listeners and they're scratching their heads right now, hit the YouTubes immediately and listen to each and every track. It is for a hardcore G.I. Joe fan who has both comic book and cartoon references and toy references to draw upon. There is no more rewarding synthesis of that knowledge distilled into awesome beats and killer rhymes. I'm not a rap fan, okay? Let me just preface by saying, as far as rap is concerned, my vista is very, very narrow. So anyone who is put off by the fact that these are rap albums, set that aside. Just trust me on this. I am gifting you this knowledge that Word Burglar is where it's at.
Yeah, man. He goes deep. He knows the stuff, so yeah.
Chief, we got anything exciting coming up, my brother?
We have a couple of exciting things for you people out there. Stay tuned because I know you've got your Talking Joe dosage today, but tomorrow you're going to get some video footage of S-Jubs and the Chief as we unveil Chief's toy box. Whoa! What the heck does that mean? Basically, it means I go through a toy box, pull out toys, and me and Steve discuss them.
And the hits just keep coming. Friday, we've got Chief's Toy Box. And then Monday, the 10th of August, is Talking Joe's turn to take up the Cobra Convergence torch. And we're doing not only a special edition of the podcast, but a video presentation of said podcast as well. And there'll be little nuggets that you'll find in the audio that you won't find in the video, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do?
Yeah, you gotta listen to it once, and then watch it once, and then do it all over again. But no, that was fun recording that. We recorded that quite a while ago. S-Jubs is hard at work on the visual elements for the YouTube special. Exciting times in the Talking Joe studio. Like I mentioned, we might have a guest coming up in a couple of weeks, a nice high profile guest who we've been admiring over the last several months, so stay tuned for that. But now is a good time to be into G.I. Joe and a good time to be into Talking Joe. And
if you want to know where to find these videos, since Talking Joe doesn't have a YouTube channel just yet, the Cobra Convergence video will be up on Hooded Cobra Commander 788's channel and G.I. Joeberg. The Toy Box video will be going up on G.I. Joeberg. And hey, Chief, should we put them up on Facebook as well?
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
I wonder if you can put up an hour-long vlog on Facebook.
I have no idea.
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out, yes. Is that what it is, an hour? Wow.
Yep. It was a lot longer.
Okay.
I've done what I could, Chief.
That's okay. Good man. Listen, you can catch me in all the places. Chiefy2 Shoes, that's Chief with Y, number 2 shoes. Posting daily art pics of all the art I've commissioned over the years. There's been some G.I. Joe ones recently, a couple of Destros, and there's some more to come in August, more G.I. Joe stuff. And check out my man Steve over on G.I. Joe Berg in all the usual places, pumping out the content as always. Actually, there's a new episode of Joe Berg, this week's one, which I haven't got around to listening yet, so I might stick that on this afternoon, you know.
Ah, good man. Chief, what better way to close out the show than with, just in case I wasn't able to convince the listeners, we're going to drop a little bit of Word Burglar in honor of our Cobra Convergence contribution. We're going to play out with Chuckles, The Last Laugh. We've been talking Joe.
And we're all out of Joes.
Boom.
Undercover.
To expose the core.
Go to extremes in the process.
Undercover.
To expose the core.
The real definition of what a snake is.
Undercover.
To expose the core.
Go to extremes in the process.
Undercover.
To expose the core.
The real definition of what a snake is.
Quick wit and a fast tongue. Yeah, guess I'm my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left a job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one. Quick wit and a fast tongue, my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left a job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one. A pass? None. They took my life away from me for the mission. Had to let it go painfully. Gainfully employed from busting drugs and tracking pimps to arms dealers in the Balkans, hijacking blimps. Undercover so long, they all forgot who I work for, where I've been, what I've seen, and had to murk for. The mission's all I got, living off a dirt floor, and I'd probably burn right now if you walk me through a church door. In my line of work, it's hard not to cast aspersions. Just keep telling yourself you're not a bad person. Elaborate diversions, life in deep cover, prepared to sacrifice even each other. I lost a lover, you can't question my next move. This is my final report, nothing left to lose. A clever dude and I'm taking this island with me. If it's the last thing I do, and it will be.
Better find out before you time's out. Time's out.
Quick wit and a fast tongue, my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left a job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one.
Jokes on you, Jack. Jokes on you, Jack. Jokes on you, Jack.
I worked my way in from the gutters, all the way up to high command. Chump wheelman to the commander's right hand. Off the land, off the grid, transmitter in my head. So in theory, they can even listen when I'm dead. Now there's a reason I'm the man that the general sent. Silently creeping in the tents, nobody's ever went deeper. Yeah, collecting more intel from foreign cells. Ignored the warning bells. Shot through the door to hell just to pass in my application. And only got time for one last assassination. But kill one snake, another takes its place. That's why I'm with this nuclear sub, about to lay to waste. 5 square miles of reptiles and reprobates. Fingers on the trigger, and my girl won't let me hesitate. This is why she died, now I can see it clear. Should've known when I arrived, I was never leaving here.
Came through the door, my mind was thinking all out war. Thinking all out war, thinking all out war. I'ma settle the score, one cent for
quick
all.
wit and a fast tongue. Yeah, guess I'm my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left a job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one. Quick wit and a fast tongue, my dad's son. Only weaknesses are women and bad puns. Call me Chuckles, never left a job half done. Go ahead and laugh, I'll be sure I get the last one.